Today is 740th day that I'm here to lessons to learn. I'm learning how to support your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. 2 days ago, I shared major things in life. One day ago, yesterday, I shared minor things in life. I shared that when you really want to focus on major things in life to feel fulfilled and joyful, you must spend majority of the time on major things that really makes a difference in your life. We have a tendency to really focus on minor things, and we always do not spend enough time to reflect what is minor things, what is major things. And if we do not reflect what is major, what is minor, we a lot of include in our schedule, in our calendar, a lot of minor things. Today I will share a little bit different topic, and I will want you to look into the minor things in life that we always think of as minors, and a lot of times it's minor thing. But if neglected those minor things, it becomes major things. Because a lot of things compounds. Even minor things, if you do it every single day, will compound in major things. It's a beautiful thing sometimes, if in the good things and the bad things. So today I'll share minor things, and we'll share 13 things that minor things moves in becoming major things. Could be bad, it could be good, and of course it depends in what way do you use that. Number one is procrastination. Now it's a small thing. People do not see as procrastination as a big thing, not a major thing. But if you procrastinate for one day, then for a week, then for a month, then for a year, then for a decade, maybe procrastinate for 20 years to really start something that could be potentially meaningful. And what is the last step of this minor thing? Procrastination. Regret. A huge regret. People who are at the deathbed and they always think about why I procrastinated, why I was waiting for 20 years to start something that was meaningful for me because of fear, fear of rejection, fear of mistake, fear of failure, fear of something. There are so many things that really keeps us in procrastination mode. And for one day, procrastination will never do a big thing. But when you do procrastination for 20 years on one thing, on a specific thing that you love to do, that could lead to huge major regret. Number two is unresolved conflict. Unresolved conflict. That means it could be a small thing. But if you don't solve it, people care it and think about it, and after a while, from a small thing could lead to huge conflict, and everyone's could potentially say the same. You remember what you did to me? Even though this could be small, but if you do not resolve that, when people think about constantly the same conflict in their mind, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and after a while, that small thing, because of added story, became a huge massive problem, a huge massive conflict. So that means it doesn't matter how small the conflict is, it must be resolved as soon as possible. I know it's not easy. I know sometimes you want to avoid it. I know difficult conversations is difficult, but at the same time, when you resolve it, it saves you a long term, because short-term pain a lot of times lead to long-term pleasure. Number three is unhealthy habits. Unhealthy habits. Again, I think one of the questions is that if I'm eating this food for 20 years, what will happen to my body? If I will eat this food for 20 years, what will happen to my body? And we realize that we do not want to see that future. And of course, once a week, it's not that bad. And one thing that small things is that when you say it came once a week, it's not that bad. But what it leads to, it leads that, twice a week is not that bad. And then, three times a week is not that bad. And then, once a day is not that bad. And of course, you are losing your ground. You're reducing your boundaries. But when you have very strong boundaries and not rules, but principles of your life, how you live. And of course, rules could be broken, and sometimes people do not like rules. And I'm against rules, but really living by principle that you just don't do that because this is who you are. And if you eat once in a year or something that delicious food, maybe will nothing happen. But we need to be very, very, very careful not allow that identity change and start saying, maybe I'm the person who eats this kind of food. Because when you start switching your identity, I think, okay, I eat McDonald's. I allow myself to do that because I don't eat McDonald's because I'm not that kind of person who eats McDonald's. I always will find some better opportunity to eat. But if I will eat once McDonald's, that's okay because I just don't eat McDonald's, and I allow myself in principle to do that. Number 4 is financial neglect. Financial neglect. Now, of course, what does financial neglect means? That means, do you have a budget? Do you have follow where the money goes? Because again, that small things is like small habits that you do every single day, and it could be like every single day you spend extra $5 that you might not spending. So if you spend extra $5 every single day, multiply by 300, and just for easy calculation, 300 by 5, it'll be 1,500. And it's imagine what you could potentially do with 1,500. And if, of course, could be more than $15, and it could be like at 4,500. And it's a beautiful thing when you're able to understand where your money goes. Budget is very, very important because at the end of the day, if you really believe that you want to have generational wealth, passive income, great mindset, great skills, you need to have some funding to invest in yourself. And if you want to have a funding to do that, that means you need to increase your income. And then, of course, there's a lot of different ways in it, but we need to understand that financial neglect is one of the things that do not allow us to get all the resources necessary to live a joyful life as well. Number 5 is disorganization. Disorganization. That means that we might live in disorganized life. It could be our home disorganized, our mind could be disorganized, our table could be disorganized, our finances could be disorganized. And for one day, it's okay to be disorganized. But again, do we have a weekly 1 hour of organization of multiple things? How we exercise, where's our mental state, reflecting on all multiple things that we could organize and put in specific places that we know that we're able to compartmentalize different areas of life. Because I truly believe that you compartmentalize every aspect of life, you're able to focus and give that huge flow in that one area that when you really need it. Number 6 is problems in education. That means if you do not have foundational things in knowledge, in wisdom, it's very hard to build something on top of it. That's why we need to say, okay, if you miss something, we need to learn it. That means that the same thing when you are in school, in course, and a lot of times people have some questions, small question that they just do not know. And we sometimes forget to raise hand and ask a question because we think that this is a stupid question. It's a very small question. But that small question will hinder multiple things and could lead to major misunderstandings. So it's very essential when we have a small question. It doesn't matter how small it is. We need to ask a question to make sure that it disappears and it builds foundation and doesn't lead to misunderstanding of anything in wisdom. Number 7 is lack of communication. Lack of communication. At the beginning, it seems small thing, but in the end, it leads to major things because lack of communication leads to lack of trust, lack of respect, lack of accountability, lack of dependability, doesn't feel not supported. A lot of different feelings will lead from lack of communication. So small thing, lack of communication, not communicating enough, could lead to mistrust, disrespect, and all other things that really doesn't allow to build strong relationships. And that's the major thing in life. Number 8 is a minor legal matters. So that means that a lot of times could be that we have some kind of small legal disappointment activity, and it could lead to major things. Again, this is one thing that if you do something illegally, small, it doesn't matter how small it is, but what it says about you as identity, that you allow yourself to break rules. And now, if you break one rule, that means that it might be that you will break even bigger. If you stole €5, that means that you might, or $5, it might be that you will steal even $50. If you stole $50, it might need that you will steal $1 million and then above. That means everything starts from small things. Small things. So that means if you allow yourself to do very small thing that is not good, probably allow to do much major thing as well. Number 9 is mental health neglect. This is very, very important as well. We neglecting our mental health. We focusing on all the goals, aspirations, dreams, passions, purposes. But how much time do you spend really taking care of our mental health? And if we do not take care, it's at the beginning it seems small, but in the long run it becomes a major thing, because without mental health, we're not able to have energy necessary to pursue the things that we wanted all the time. Very, very important. Number 10 is substance use. This is one again one of the why people start to fall even deeper and deeper and deeper in substance use, because they believe it is a small thing, and people build that identity. Oh, like just once a week, just once a week, and then after a month, then just twice a week. Oh, just three times a week, and this doesn't give me what I want anymore, and then a stronger substance, and it becomes more and more and more and more, and it's after that it becomes such a major problem. It destroys families, destroys everything in between, when people really not able to control their substance use anymore. Oh, sorry. And the majority of the time, everything starts from a very small thing. Even it could start from some glass of wine, glass of beer, and after a while, it becomes that just multiple drinks a day. And of course, that destroys families and anything between. 11 is personal relationships. Personal relationships. That means that we need to take care of our personal relationships. At the beginning, that personal relationships could be minor thing, and minor in a lot of different areas. But when you really neglect personal relationships, it will show up sooner or later. Because at the end of the day, we are part of community. We want to be part of community, and we want to use our surround ourselves with people. And if we neglect that, sooner or later it will lead to disappointment. It will lead to loneliness. It will lead to really feeling that something is wrong enough. And I truly believe that every single person deserves and supposed to earn personal relationships through small things that every single day, small touch points that you're able to do with people to make sure that you're able to earn and build relationships with people. Number 12 is unaddressed insecurities. I think that every single person has some sort of insecurities. Everyone has it. I probably never met anyone who do not have some insecurities, or maybe who didn't have insecurities. As a lot of people work on insecurities a lot. I found that when I really listen a lot of amazing speakers, people who achieve great success, a majority of them, they went through therapy because they knew that every single person needs to deal with their insecurities. And they will delve with it. Because only strong people are able to share that. I do not know this. I need help. Because only strong people are able to say that I need help. And when you're able to address insecurities, your life becomes much more fulfilled and filling, because you know that you are a secure person, and other people's opinions will not matter for you, because you are secure as a person in general. Because when you have flaws and you're afraid of them, so that means you're afraid for yourself, and you're afraid of other people to look and see your flaws as well. And that's of course makes you vulnerable, and you change your decisions based on other people, not on yourself. That's a major thing. And last one that they have is career dissatisfaction. Career dissatisfaction. So that means that people are really not enjoying their job. And at the beginning, it's not that big thing, because they're able to make money, it's comfortable. But what that one small thing leads to is that after a year, 2 years, people start to really regret their decision to stay. It's crazy how many times I have heard that people, like, I needed to do that 2 years ago. Like, you are able to do now, because after more 2 years, they'll say exactly the same thing. I needed to do that 4 years ago. I needed to do that 2 years ago. So the sooner you jump, the better it will be. The sooner we'll jump, the better it will be. And that's why I know that sometimes we need to stay in one position to build some kind of safety net before we're able to leave. because there's a lot of different circumstances we are not able to do because of our family members, because of money requirements, and everything between. I understand. But knowing the strategy and trying to build a strategy how you could potentially leave your job or build the skill sets necessary to leave a job to other job is essential to do something about it. Because your external things that happen to you will not be able to control, but still there is a lot of things that you will be able to control if you will ask, okay, what am I able to do now with my life that I could be satisfied with small steps toward that better tomorrow, better future. So there's a lot of things that in our lives is minor things, but would lead to major things. So that's always we ask ourselves, how this minor thing, if we will do it for a long time, it will lead to bigger things. And again, we need to ask ourselves, if this activity, if I will do, will change my identity. Because I said that if, for example, you eat different foods, like if you go to McDonald's, my identity, I just don't eat McDonald's because I'm not that kind of person. If I will eat once, that's okay, because I will still keep myself that identity, because this is just not who I am. I love gym, I love exercise, I love running, I love fitness. So doesn't align with me. So that means that being able to ask ourselves if this activity aligns with my identity allows to filter through activities, because those small steps, when you allow once, a lot of times could potentially, if you do not filter through identity, allow us to change our behaviors, and after a while we realize that we end up in a position that we do not want. So understanding early on saves us from stepping in those small things, those minor things that could lead to major disappointments. So I hope you just win, and see you tomorrow.